This episode of the Opie Radio podcast, sponsored by drinkhydrant.com/Opie. Enter promo code Opie, OPIE, to get 25% off your first order. Let's take care of that dehydration, you...
What's up?
Judd Jones, how are you, buddy?
Well, if it isn't Mr. Women's Rights. Look at you, boy, all progressive. And, man, that's just so, it's very impressive.
Oh, really? Because people are really mad at me. I'm like, what? I'm not a...
Oh, yeah, no. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Why are they mad at me? Because I'm sticking up for women and birth control. Oh, my God. I'm not a monster.
Well, I guess it's because you should be the same exact person that you were at another point in your life.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But
I mean,
but I always loved women and supported women. I mean, I did some crazy ass shit with women over the years on the radio show.
No, that's the guy who brought in chicks and had them get naked or whatever. You know, that's so they paint you with that brush and you can never change, dude.
Yeah, well, they, we didn't force any woman to do anything crazy on our radio show. One guy's like,
you don't have to tell me shit, boy. I'm sure the statute of limitations is long gone.
One guy goes, what about the wiffle ball bat challenge? Know what it's about? It's another Trump thing, man. These guys would rather throw their own wives, daughters, mothers, grandmas over a cliff to support Donald Trump, because I guess it's a victory for him. What's the whole thing? What was it all about today?
My understanding is that it was something about business. The Supreme Court said businesses that are
religious.
I don't know, whatever affiliation with religion, whether they provide service or maybe even the ownership of the company or something, doesn't have to adhere to Obama's Obamacare that talks about birth control or something like that. I think it was like the Hobby Lobby thing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So I supported the women because they're really bummed out because they need the birth control for many things besides the sex angle. My God, that people don't do basic research. And I said it today when they went after me like, oh, you were the one over the years with all this stuff you do. Women are just I'm like, and so
her titties were out.
Yeah. So I put a quote out today from a Beastie Boys documentary that is simple. It says, I'd rather be a hypocrite than the same person forever. My God.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like sure. No, that fits it to the T, man, for sure.
I knew you would enjoy that.
No, man, but I mean, shit, dude. I mean, it's just, look, dude, I think you would know way better than anybody. People are looking for any little thing that they could go at you with every once in a while just for their own shits and giggles. You know what I mean? So if you show one little thing that's not the Opie Radio guy from before, boom, they're going to go at you.
Yeah, it's I don't know what they expect from me, man. I mean, that radio show was a long time ago at this point. I mean, it started getting embarrassing when we would bring the women in, and I'm like, man, no one gives a fuck about naked girls on the radio anymore. And then I felt so awkward, like, can we see your tits? And I'm like, oh my God, I got kids, I got a wife. This is just weird now.
Well, and not having ever had kids, I can't empathize with that perspective, but it makes total sense. Like if you're, living that life and doing that thing, and then you have kids, or specifically a daughter, I can see how that might change your perspective a little bit,
I still want to see tits, don't get me wrong, but it just,
of course,
but it didn't make sense anymore. There was a time before we all had our faces in our phones that you would tune in a radio show and it's like, oh my God, are they getting this girl naked? And then your mind would start going to all sorts of places. You're fantasizing and thinking what this woman looks like, and then we're describing what she looks like. And it was very, very very titillating for the people driving home from a shitty job somewhere.
Sure. A lot of fun.
But now, within 2 clicks, you can see pretty much family members at this point naked online.
Right, inside out buttholes. You can see it all.
I'm just trying to find a tweet. Oh, here it is. What a fucking douchebag you've turned into.
Oh, that's simple. Straight to the point.
Because I'm supporting women.
Right.
Oh, because that means I'm going against Trump. I don't care about either side. I can't wait for Biden to be president because it's starting to look that way. And I'm going to be all in from day one, making fun of him as well.
It's weird, man, because having grown up in Texas, we were actually Democrats in Texas my whole life growing up. But in a lot of ways, it seems like the Democrat Party, it's like the party switched what they believe in just since I've been alive.
Yeah.
Middle class.
Right.
Middle class used to be all about the Democrats. Now the Democrat, both parties are big business parties.
Yeah.
And it seems like the Republicans, or at least they're talking about middle class. Well, shit, that's arguably how Trump got elected.
Oh, man. I was all rah-rah Trump at first because I don't really believe the political system is taking care of the individual at this point. And I thought it would be a great experiment to throw a guy in there that has no experience whatsoever and that he would fuck some things up in Washington. But then it became clear that he's just like everybody else. He don't give a fuck about me. He doesn't care about you, Judd Jones, and he doesn't care about anyone we care about in our lives.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit about the individual, but no politician ever has.
Of course.
So, everyone has always felt like, so warm and fuzzy with Obama.
Yeah.
Obama don't give a shit about you as the individual either.
100%. I think Obama had a lot of people fooled for a while too. And it showed when he got his second term. They didn't come out to vote as much as the first time he ran for president for his first term. Yeah. The numbers were way down in the community because they're all walking around going, what the fuck? I thought we're all getting free phones.
Yeah. Oh, the phones, right.
Yeah. Obama president now. And then 4 years later, they're like, wait a minute. My life didn't really change.
Nah, not so much.
But I think most people in America, Judd, I think they know that by now. And I think they're just rooting for a sports team. And that's all that this is about at this point.
Oh, dude, it's all weird. Everything's turned upside down and weird. And, the thing that gets me that you hear people say every once in a while is that they want Trump to, he's not saying what needs to be said to bring the country together.
Right.
And I laugh every time they say that. And I'm like, when at any point,
right,
even before he was president, did you think that guy was ever going to be that guy?
Yeah.
He's not going to be that guy, and so they keep saying it. And but right. So they need some strong speech to get the country back together. Right. That ain't him. No.
I laugh because this is where I confuse my audience. That's where I love Trump because they're like, no, this time he's going to show empathy. I'm like, he already showed you 20 times prior that he has no empathy. What do you mean this time he's going to show empathy or this time he's going to do the right thing? He's never going to do the right thing, man.
No.
He truly is a piece of shit. He's a horrible person.
And he's the exact same person that everybody knew even before he was president. The dude has not changed one iota.
Yeah.
I think he apologized once and that made him feel weird, so he didn't do it again.
Yeah, exactly, because it shows weakness,
Of course, never apologize.
Yeah. You see the picture of my fish tank online?
Was that what that was?
Oh, you couldn't tell? No one could tell. Yeah.
I thought I glanced at it. I thought maybe it was your vegetable drawer in your refrigerator or something.
That was the fish tank. If you go back a whole bunch of episodes for the people out there, I was talking about saving my fish. I went in, in the middle of the night to save fish.
The Great Escape.
Yeah, and I put them in milk jugs, and I brought them where I'm at right now, and they're thriving. I only lost 1 out of 12. And that was the fish tank I left behind with the water in it and everything. And now it's just being overtaken by hundreds and hundreds of snails and black mold, it looks like. And and we were only in the city for half a day, and my wife's like, we should throw this thing away. And I'm like, because now I'm looking at it as a scientific experiment. So I want to see how bad it gets.
Yeah.
And then cockroaches in my apartment. I haven't been there in 3 months. There's no food around or nothing. We live very, very clean there, Judd Jones.
Of course, sure.
But the cockroaches have started climbing through the pipes because no one's in my building. 90% of the building left. They as soon as that coronavirus hit, everyone said, fuck this. So I was talking to people in the building like, oh yeah, because the pipes aren't really being used. These critters are starting to crawl all over the place and getting in apartments. And they're like, we're just praying that the mice don't follow.
Shit, dude. I heard the rats are taking over. There's not enough food for them. They're angry.
Well, you beat me to the punch. The other thing we noticed, and someone backed it up. I only saw one, to be honest with you. But this person we talked to, they said, "Oh no, there are dead rats all over the place, all over the city." That they said, all the years I've lived in New York, I've never seen so many dead rats on the streets of New York.
Starving.
Yeah, I guess, right? There's not enough food.
Did I tell you that when we left out of New York, it was the end of March, like very end of March.
Yeah.
And we left at 5 o'clock in the morning, and everything was already desolate anyway.
Right.
Like a lot of cars weren't off the street, and I'd parked out front and loaded. We went to load the car that morning to leave at 5, and pitch black, nobody around, no cars or anything. The only thing we could hear is the rustling of the rats eating the garbage out in front of the buildings. We were just like, get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah.
You ever corner a rat by accident while walking around New York?
Yeah, kind of. One time, actually, in the subway, and actually, I kicked it.
Really?
I kicked it because it was running underneath. Varmints and shit like that don't bother me.
Yeah.
And people were freaking out in the train. It was actually pretty funny. And it ran by, and I kind of moved out of the way, and it started to go towards me. And then I, kicked it, just kind of pushed it.
Yeah.
But then I pushed it into somebody else's foot, and they jumped, and But it was like we were all in it together, man. You got to defend yourself with this shit. But yeah, that's it. But no, shit. There's not a day that would go by in New York that especially at night, that I wouldn't see a rat.
Yeah.
At least one. Yeah.
But the city is really strange. People are starting to come back slowly but surely, but we've already decided, fuck that. We're staying right where we are.
Well, like us, we're just in a holding pattern. We're in Florida.
Yeah.
And, there's no absolute need to be there. So we're just kind of waiting to see, because you see spikes in Texas and Florida and all these places that are going to happen regardless of the reason.
Yeah.
Well, and here's New York waving the flag like they've accomplished something.
Yeah.
After so many people have died. We'll just wait till people get more comfortable. People are more comfortable in Florida and Texas. That's why the number goes up. Wait till they want to travel to New York, and people go back to work and pack the fucking subway.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Nothing has changed.
Right.
This thing is just going to continue spiking. I don't know the answer, by the way, because as soon as you start talking about this, people get really, really mad. But you're down there in Florida with DeSantis. He's done a great job since day one with this whole thing.
But now all these cases are going up in Florida because they've kept shit open. They, since Memorial Weekend, it's been kicking off like Lord of the Flies out here, dude. I'm telling you.
Crazy.
Everybody's just, when I was going to we're at this previous place where I could go to the beach and go surf casting, right?
Yeah.
And so I would go out there in the mornings, and there's nobody around, whatever. But I'd go in the evenings too. When I first got there at the end of March, I was at night. I'd go down there like at 6 o'clock, till 8 or something like that. And I'm one of two people on the whole beach, as far as you can see.
Yeah.
By the time we left a couple weeks ago, there was hordes of people after the sun went down.
Oh my God.
Just sitting on the beach. So it's like, I didn't stop even going out there, man. Just like, except unless I went in the morning. Yeah.
I know we're all frustrated, but this is a real thing. It's going to be with us for a while. It's going to kill a lot more people. And there's no going back to what we were used to. This is a new norm now. And a lot of people just lost their patience and said, fuck that, man. I'm going to enjoy my summer. You know, and I think you can enjoy your summer, but also kind of still try to take it a little seriously. But what I found around me is people just said, fuck it.
Well, but see that, and that attitude is what anybody can see is the wrong attitude. You know, like you said, you know, not get back to normal. You know, like you know, that's the other thing people were bitching at you or talking to you about today on social media or whatever is kids going to school. Right. So in my mind, I'm thinking that's just right around the corner. And you got cases going up everywhere.
Yeah.
Like people need to make decisions that go till like December or January.
Right.
In my mind, like with everything.
Yes.
You know, to give that cushion. Now, that doesn't mean people can't go back to work and remotely and, you know, maybe, you know, whatever. But as far as the crowds coming together, like I think that we need to just kind of stay on hold with that type of thing.
Sure.
But the problem with that is you're going to kill a lot of businesses doing that.
No, it's very
namely fucking comedy clubs.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I know you guys are fucked. It's very complicated, and the big news is, you know, Trump's basically demanding that the schools open up in the fall, or he's going to take away federal funding and blah blah blah. And my point was really simple. It's just based on stats. But once again, as soon as I say I don't think they're going to be opening the schools in the fall, or it's crazy to open them up, people now think I'm against Trump again. And I'm like, I'm just looking at stats and these charts. They're spiking straight up when we were supposed to, you know, make it just fade away slowly way down here. But they're spiking again, and they're spiking just in time for the end of summer / the start of school. So my thought process is, I don't know how they open up the schools and convince parents in general that it's a safe place for their kids. And then you get a whole bunch of people like, well, I'd rather be at school than at home, and they need to socialize, and not everyone could afford to, you know, not work and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's all good, and we can discuss all that. But the fact is, this is a major fucking problem. Wait till you see what the teachers do. You think these teachers are going to go back to school gladly? They're going to be scared out of their mind when they see these numbers continuing to go up, and they're not going to want to put their health and their loved ones' health on the line to keep their teaching jobs going. You watch how many teachers drop out.
I think there'll be plenty of that. But see, your first mistake is quit messing around with facts. Everything is based on emotion now.
Yep.
You should know that. Everything is based on emotion.
Yep.
So throw your facts away.
They're like, one guy goes, you know, you do what you want with your kids and I'll do what I want with my kids. Basically, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, I think we're trying to discuss this because there's no easy answer. Because I understand, you know, the kids staying home is a drag. You know, I want my kids back at school socializing with their friends. I see it on their faces. They're like, when is this going to end, Dad? They don't want to They don't want to do online schooling anymore. But as a parent, I'm scared shitless to let my kids go back to school in the fall. It's already a petri dish. And then they're like, well, you know, we're going to reduce the amount of people that are allowed in the school and in the classrooms. And maybe they'll go to school once or twice a week. And that's not even good enough for us. But if you're a parent out there and that's good enough for you and you're willing to roll the dice, then so be it. Or maybe you don't even have a choice. You just simply got to roll the dice because you got to, you know, make a living for your family. But I was just trying to discuss this online, and you're right. It's all about emotion. If you say that it's crazy to go back to school in the fall, that means once again you're anti-Trump. And I bring up this point. A few months ago, it was a theme on the podcast where wearing a mask or not wearing a mask became very political when we have a health crisis in America. And that should have never been a question. That should have been basically a thing where you look at both sides and go, we're all going to agree, at least on this simple point. We got a health crisis in America. Everyone wear a fucking mask. But that had to be political. And now the next political thing is this school thing. If you don't want to send your kids to school, that means you're against Trump. It's become exhausting out there.
Well, no, there's a line in the sand on every topic, which is, you know, it just boggles my mind. Again, having grown up kind of in a political environment because my dad was in politics and shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an all or nothing thing, one side or the other, that I just can't relate to. Like, I think I wear a mask everywhere I go in Florida, and some of these people look at me, give me the look like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I got some lines ready for them if they want to say some shit, but it's like, I think everyone should be wearing a mask. That's the thing, right? Short term, long term, everyone should be wearing a mask, but I'm also pro gun. So where the fuck party should I be in?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I understand that.
There's just tons of examples of that. Like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of don't fall into any particular party anymore. But the mask thing, they say, oh, it doesn't help at the beginning, and now they say that. Look, dude, it at least keeps somebody from breathing or coughing as much into the air that I'm around. So
right.
Fuck yes, let's just do that. I don't know, man. I mean, it's so contagious, and so many people. I'm seeing more and more people that I know who are getting these antibody tests, who thought they might have had a little something in March or April, but it wasn't a big deal. Yeah. And they have the antibodies now.
Yeah.
The fact that the range of symptoms for it and how it affects different people. The Broadway guy.
Yeah.
Like, what was he, 41?
Yeah.
My God. It's like he just dealt with fucking stage 4 cancer. He just did,
I don't mean to laugh, but you're right. It was like he dealt with stage 4 cancer within 40 days. They started by amputating a leg, and they didn't know what the hell to do to try to save this guy's life. And sadly, he died and left pretty much a newborn behind.
God.
They're finding out that a lot of young people that get this thing that thought they were fine, a lot of doctors are saying, you study their lungs and stuff, and they're not fine. They got scarring and all sorts of issues that they don't even know because they're so young, but it could be a problem later in their lives.
I did see one study that showed that people who were smokers and drinkers had lower mortality, so that made me feel pretty
good for you. You're going to live to 100.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, and let me specifically say, any of this shit I'm talking about, who the fuck am I? I don't know shit about anything. I'm half drunk and working on this dugout as we talk. Yeah. Don't listen to me. I don't know anything.
And I'm with you, man. I just want to throw my shit at the wall like everybody else, but you get some angry people. They just basically want you dead because you suggest that maybe it's not a good idea to send kids back to school in the fall. I'm like, oh my God, we can't even discuss anything anymore in this country.
It's just, no. See, those days are gone, and
yeah, absolutely.
It's it's what do they call it? Identity politics. There's the term. Isn't that what they do? Isn't that what they call it?
I don't know. It's my team against your team, and then it's basically if you're a Red Sox fan, you're trying to convince all the Yankees fans to become Red Sox fans. That's how our politics work in this country. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with that analogy. Well put.
All right, Judd, I got to take a moment here to ask you about your hydration. How's your water intake?
50-50 whiskey water.
You got to be drinking a certain amount of water every day. You got to hydrate the body. It's the middle of summer there, Judd Jones.
I hydrate, but when I'm drinking, I make sure I 50-50 it so I don't have problems. Oh, I'm a water drinker, man. I'm all about the hydration.
Are you one of those guys that carries around a gallon of water and that's your goal to finish that during the day?
No, that's typically people who are in good shape who go to the gym. That's not me.
I'm drinking my water. Oh, my God.
Jesus.
I found a new way to hydrate. It's drinkhydrant.com/Opie. Enter the promo code Opie, OPIE, for 25% off your first order there, Judd Jones. Hydrant created a refreshing electrolyte powder that you mix directly into water to efficiently and effectively hydrate your body so you don't have to drink water all day long anymore, Judd Jones.
Gives you a boost. I got you. Sounds good.
It hydrates you quickly and keeps you going for longer. Each rapid hydration mix has the 4 essential electrolytes your body needs. Do you know what they are, Judd?
Electrolytes that you need? No. I know, but you should just tell the people.
Sodium, potassium, magnesium, and zinc.
Whiskey.
And whiskey.
No. Oh, no.
And it packs a punch to help your body hydrate fast and stay hydrated. If you're looking for that extra boost of energy, there's also Hydrant Plus Caffeine. Nice. Which contains 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea. And you got scientists involved with this drink hydrant. So this is the real deal. And they got 5-star reviews all over the place, Judd Jones. And it tastes good, too. They got real fruit juice powder, Delicious, refreshing, comes in a variety of flavors, including new summer-friendly iced tea, lemonade, and my favorite, fruit punch.
Fruit punch, beautiful.
And they...
I had nothing for fruit punch. You've convinced me. You got to send some down here. I tell you, I have a lot of liquid in my body, so I'm going to step outside. You keep talking. I'm with you.
Hydrant starts at just $1 a packet for a 30-day supply. Save even more with a monthly subscription. All right, this is what you got to do. We got a special deal for our listeners. Save 25% off your first order. All you have to do is go to drinkhydrant.com/Opie or enter our promo code Opie at checkout. That's drink, DRINK, hydrant, HYDRANT, drinkhydrant.com/Opie. Enter the promo code Opie for 25% off your first order. And, of course, we thank them for sponsoring the podcast.
Drink hydrant. I had nothing for fruit punch.
It's okay you had nothing for fruit punch.
Can't all be winners.
I don't know.
So you don't think he's going to win in the next election?
I think he's doing everything wrong right now. So,
okay, but if you were to bet today on his reelection or defeat, would you bet on the reelection or defeat?
This is where I'm at. I think Trump's in a lot of trouble, but I think Biden's going to fuck it up because I don't think Biden's all there at all. I feel like at any moment he's just going to blurt out, "Where's my orange Jell-O?" Yeah. When he had that press conference the other day, I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, there's a very good chance that he's going to forget where he is or just blurt out some non sequitur or something, you know?
Yeah, Legos.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And that's where the Democrats are so stupid. You know, they had Trump for the last 4 years doing everything. This Trump wants to go viral every single day. He wants to go viral multiple times a day. There was so much material there, so much to pick apart. And then the Democrats throw Joe Biden at him. That was the best they could come up with after 3-4 years. It's crazy.
That surprised me too. On one hand, because of how many different kinds of people were in that campaign.
Yeah.
However, people are so shocked and put out with Trump that they would rather go with something that they know. And you know Joe Biden because he's been there for 50 fucking years.
I understand that, but I think the people close to Biden knew that he wasn't completely there anymore, though, that he was losing it a step or two. I think that's pretty obvious, and you can't deny that.
They just got to get him to November, dude.
That's what they're hoping for. That's what I mean by this. I want to say that it's Biden's to lose, but I really believe between now and November, there's going to be a doozy from him.
Right. I don't know if did you see that stupid video I did, the spoofing auditioning for Camping World?
Oh, I loved it. I love your quarantine videos, Judd Jones.
Just looking for something stupid. Did I tell you that Camping World contacted me and asked me if I wanted to, quote unquote, take comedy on the road, send us a DM?
Yes.
Yeah, haven't heard back from him.
Oh, really?
I sent him a whole thing and another video and like an idea that I had.
Yeah.
No response whatsoever.
Nothing.
Like, none whatsoever. But that wasn't really the point. I thought it was more funny to do that, you know, because that camper was across the road and shit. Anyway, stupid shit.
That's funny.
But at the end of it, my point is that, you know, get out and see America because you'll realize it's all different kinds of people living and working amongst each other.
Right.
That's the vast majority of the country. I don't care who says what. You can talk about numbers because it's a major city. Travel around a little bit and you'll see what this is. Whether it's Florida, I mean, everyone gets along just fine in businesses or, you know, that's the vast majority of people.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, putting this white against black or this against that or anything like that, the vast majority of the country is not playing that game. like with Trump, economy. Okay, well, if he keeps the numbers keep going where they are, he can hang his hat on good economy.
Yeah.
Right. And his other thing is law and order. That's what he's going to hang his hat on. And I think most of the people in the country are like, okay, generally the economy is doing good. Yeah, everyone's separated and race is a big issue now. And, all of these things. But most people just want to live their lives, go to work, come home, go on a vacation once a year for 2 weeks. And if Trump, law and order, and the economy is decent, I think he'll probably win again.
Right.
That's just what I think.
Yeah. Well,
law and order, economy. I think that's it. I'm sorry. I'm talking.
No. I keep laughing because I'm just such a dick. Every time he tweets law and order, have you seen me tweet back? Okay, Fonzie.
Oh yeah, a different television show.
No,
right.
I just go, okay, Fonzie. Because remember, because Fonzie on Happy Days always acted tough, like, oh, but he never touched anybody on Happy Days. It used to drive me nuts. He was supposed to be the tough guy, and he was always threatening people, kind of, but he never, ever touched a soul on that show. So every time Trump tweets Law and Order, I go, okay, Fonz.
Right. No.
Because as he's saying Law and Order, the split screen is all hell's breaking loose all over the country.
Right.
And I don't agree with all the goddamn statues coming down there, Judd Jones. And I know you're from the South, so you probably have an opinion on this goddamn thing.
Well, there's actually a Confederate statue in my hometown that some people have gotten, upset about, and I think it's like going to come up for the city council or, all that, and all the polls, the majority of it don't want it. It's downtown across from my dad's office. It's in the downtown square, right? And it's across from my dad's law office that he still keeps there, even though he's pretty much retired. I've seen it my whole life. I knew it was a statue from the Civil War. Well, when you're in Texas, you assume, that is the Confederates. Okay. And of course it is, but it never really even registered in my mind one way or another. And arguably it didn't register in most anybody else's mind one way or the other.
Yeah.
Now, if people want to put statues in a museum, all right, fine. Okay. If that's going to make you feel better. Personally, I think it's just more placating than anything else, because it's stupid. How many people are going around just saying, God damn it, I'm offended by that fucking statue? That's not happening. This is just caught up in the zeitgeist.
Oh wow,
of what's going on right now. All that shit.
I've never read a statue in my life, and then someone's like, that's a Confederate figure. Blah, blah. I'm like, oh really? I had no idea. I've walked by that statue hundreds of times. I don't give a fuck. I'd never stopped to read the stupid thing. Who cares?
Right. It's very peculiar. And then, they're just ramping it up to want to just any statue whatsoever. And, when people say, oh, erase history, I kind of laugh at that shit because it's just a statue. But it's almost stupid to waste your time focused on that.
Yes.
Regardless of what your reasoning is behind it, that cannot be the best way to accomplish it. Whatever
they want us to waste time on this stuff. I know you're smart enough to know that, Judd Jones.
Right.
Go over here and fight over your dumb statues as we shove your health care up your ass and more taxes up your ass. They don't want us focusing on the real shit that really affects American families in America. Oh my God! Look over here while we fuck you even more.
Yeah. Well, and
ladies, you can't use birth control anymore, so you have to raise that fucking kid.
You're gonna have to resign from Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, exactly. You know where it ends with the statues? The left wants it to end with dynamite at Mount Rushmore. That's their goal.
Blow it up.
That's their goal.
Blow it up. That's right. Jesus. I don't know, man. That whole thing with the statue, that in the same way that, like, what was it in D.C.?
Yeah,
they named the street Black Lives Matter Boulevard or whatever.
Yeah,
and different cities are painting Black Lives Matter on the street.
Yeah,
and it just makes me just like roll my eyes.
Yeah,
only because it's just placating.
Yeah.
That's all it's doing. It means nothing for Black America.
Yeah.
It means nothing for them.
Yes.
And it's almost insulting that that's a thing. I don't give a shit if you write anything on a street. I don't care if you rename a street anything. I don't give a shit. But to make it out like it's some big step,
right,
is just, it's a disservice, man.
Of course.
It's just it's almost humiliating, or at least it should be, to the people who think that's a good thing, because it's almost like petting people on the head and says, look, see what we did, just don't get it, so it's okay, just calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just stupid, man. And I tell you what though, the Confederate flag thing, when I lived in Houston, there was a mosque that was flying the ISIS flag.
Wow.
Right? Now, I can't say that they was sanctioned to do that, but it was right near where I worked, my office building, and I would drive through there, and you could see it, right?
Yeah.
And it became a news story in Houston, I'm pretty sure. And the first thing I thought to myself was, well, it's freedom of speech. They can put up a flag.
Right.
I mean, technically, yeah, right? So anything with the Confederate flag, I mean, look, if you're going to fly a Confederate flag and go stand in a group of protesters, well, good luck, buddy. You're going to get fucked up.
Of course. Well,
like, that's just, you got to expect that.
Well, freedom of speech, the right to that, you're going to piss off a lot of people. That's part of being in America, right?
Of course. But then when money gets involved, that's a different thing. NASCAR saying, banning it or whatever, they tried to do that before, and most people stopped doing it. I watched NASCAR. That's a whole nother story, how I got into that shit.
Right.
But
shouldn't they be banning NASCAR? I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but with everything else going on in this country, and I'm totally against the cancel culture, if you just did your research on NASCAR and found out how it was formed and stuff, oh boy. There's some racist roots right there, so you might want to ban the whole sport.
Well, right, and that's what
I don't want that. I'm just saying for these people that are like, oh, we got to ban the kid.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. That would be justifiable based on everything else that's going on now. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But when all that shit happened with the noose and all that, I immediately knew, one, it was not some targeted attack at the only black driver in NASCAR. Yeah. I knew that automatically, especially since the infield is so locked down right now with coronavirus.
Yeah.
I mean, the precautions, they only have essential people working there. And normally it's filled with people. You can pay extra money to walk through and look at a fucking garage. Hey, it's number 8.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, that's the whole thing. Well, that wasn't going on. I knew it was just a loop in the rope to pull it down. I knew that's what it was, right? Well, the problem is when, before you make it, determine exactly what happened and who did what and whatever, you put it out into the fucking world. And then they put Bubba Wallace out there to comment about it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, whoa, man, y'all don't know what's what yet. This can go a really wrong direction.
Of course.
Whatever. But when people were saying that, it's the good old boys of NASCAR, those days are gone, dude. All those motherfuckers are millionaires.
Yep.
There's way too much money involved. They all get along off the track, unless maybe a couple of them ran into each other last week. That's it.
Yeah.
This is not, and how it's so strict to be any part of a NASCAR team. Drug testing, all sorts of testing. Like, you can't just be some Bubba in the fucking garage downtown and get on a NASCAR team.
Sure.
So for someone to proactively tie up a noose in his, I knew it was bullshit from the beginning. But when you see the picture of it, two things. One, it is very noosey.
It is.
It is very noosey because it's got a couple of wraps on the bottom.
That's
right?
an uncomfortable laugh, by the way. Yes, it is.
It's a little noosey, right?
Noosey, right?
I've seen pictures of more of something that's more noosey.
Yeah,
but it was a little noosey. But I was actually curious. All right, well, put your wrist through it and pull it down. Does it cinch down on your hand?
Right.
I'm guessing it probably doesn't. You know why? Because it's a garage pull.
Of course. Let me jump in on this a little bit. So, the Bubba Wallace. First of all, a lot of people are getting very, very confused. He didn't actually discover the news. Someone told him about that.
Correct.
And then when they went all in and they got all the drivers, to support him and stuff. I said to myself at the time, like, something about this doesn't seem right. But you can't really say that because then, people look at you like you're a racist, but something didn't feel right. I'm like, I don't think, that quote noose was in that garage because of Bubba Wallace, but I was too scared to give my opinion on that one on social media because everyone will attack you. But something was just off about that whole thing. In my opinion.
That's why people need to slow down and quit saying shit too soon.
Yeah.
Like that's
take a breath.
Everyone wants to be quick to say, oh, this is obviously what it is. It's obviously him because he's black and obviously targeted and all this shit. Okay, we got to make a statement and we got to do that. No, that's a big money organization. You should absolutely have an investigation to see what the fuck. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
They figured out some fucking hillbilly tied it up there back in October. And I think there was something about there was other similar knots on other garages and places or something. Yeah. Okay. Figure that out. If you find out in that investigation that yes, targeted Bubba Wallace, the whole thing, then blow it up. Put it on every news and have everybody interviewed and shame that fucking person who did it.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And then the FBI got involved and we all decided, okay, Bubba Wallace really didn't have anything to do with this as far as finding the noose. And then we were past that. And then Trump puts out the tweet basically saying Bubba Wallace owes everyone an apology. I'm like, what are you? No, what are you doing?
That's another example of something that he's commented on where I'm just like, dude, why do you want to hang your hat on that?
Yeah, of course. How you been doing down there, Judd?
Can't complain. Like I said, we're just in me and Lisa are down here. We're in a holding pattern. We got another place to stay at in Merritt Island, which is like near Cocoa Beach.
Nice.
And it's a house that's on it's a dead end street, and the houses on one side back up to a canal, and the houses on the other side back up to like a bay, right? But it's not like a rich area by any means. It's okay, but basically every house on this street has at least 2 pickup trucks and an American flag flying in the front yard. Everybody is involved with what's going on, and they're waving and they're seeing who you are and all this stuff. I've re-nicknamed the street.
Yeah.
We don't call 911 Boulevard.
Oh wow. Okay.
So the backyard where we're staying is on a canal, and there's fucking alligators in here, dolphins. I got a video of a fucking dolphin today right off of the little pier right here.
Nice.
And fishing wise, it's just catfish. It's shitty fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not any good stuff over here. People come up and down on their boats. There's all sorts of different kinds of people on their boats coming by. And this one dude comes in a pontoon, like an old pontoon boat, right? And he's got long white hair and long white beard and a fucking Bahama hat on. And he pulls up and he's like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, oh, yeah, blah, blah. And I'm talking to him. And he kind of pulls up next to the little dock thing that's back here. And we're talking for a little bit. And his name's Randy. Randy, of course. He's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about his neighborhood and this and that. And then he points to the fucking sailboat. It's like a small sailboat with like a dinghy tied behind it that's tied in the, anchored in the middle of the thing. And he says something about, hell, I get my pot from that guy right there in that sailboat. And I'm like, oh, yeah? And he was like, oh, yeah, his name's so-and-so, whatever. And I was like, oh, shit, well, tell him to swing by, that we talk to each other when I'm out there, whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll tell him. He fucking puts his pontoon boat, goes and pulls up next to the kayak or next to the sailboat, kind of knocks on it. The dude comes out and he's talking to him and then points to me like across the fucking canal. And then I just wave kind of like, yeah, me, over here.
Wow.
And then so I didn't know. I stood out there for a little while and then he was still there. So the next day I'm out there and he kind of waves at me. I'm like, yeah. And he fucking weighs the anchor and pulls around, sells me some fucking pot, and then he skims on down the canal and goes out for the day. He's got a dog on board and shit.
Oh,
he's just like some dude in his 20s. And didn't talk to him much, just got that. And I'm like, yeah, Randy, and blah, whatever.
Right.
And so I've seen him, he'll anchor right out here sometimes, and he'll take off on a surfboard, like what do they call it when they're standing up on it?
Paddleboard, yeah.
Paddleboard, but he'll kneel down on it and he'll paddle his way over to this dock on the other side and I think he must have a car or something parked over there. So he'd take off, and then he comes back later on with like a backpack full of shit, paddles that board back out to his sailboat, fucking weighs the anchor and puts on out to the bay for a little while, or makes other fucking deliveries or some shit, dude. Fucking America, dude. That's what I'm saying.
How's your foot, by the way? We were supposed to do this earlier, but you had to get a tetanus shot.
I did like your text, though. That was funny. What are you, a 12-year-old? Yeah.
I remember stepping on nails when I was 12.
Well, no. See, look. Okay, so I had to go. So the whole point was I texted you that I stepped on a nail and then had to go to the urgent care, and I might have to get back with you an hour later.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to go pick up something at the place where we were staying before, and it's like about an hour north of here, right? So I drove over there to pick up a couple of things, and they're getting their roof redone at this house that we were renting before. And so there's all these nails and the shingles and everything that they're throwing off the roof, right? So I'm walking around in fucking flip-flops, you know, and I can see like all these little roofing nails. I'm like, oh yeah, watch out for those blue roofing nails, whatever. And I stepped on some of the fucking shingles that had wadded up that they had knocked off, and put the ball of my foot through the top of that nail.
Oh my God.
And it just shot a pain like all the way up my leg, and I had to wedge that fucking thing out of there, and it just was bleeding and all this stuff. And I'm looking at that fucking nail. That was the nail they were taking off of the roof.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing, and it's all rusty and shit, and that thing plunged. And then these fucking flip-flops I'm wearing are old as shit, so they're like thin, and I just popped it, man. And it just made me like, it was like a jolt. And I look, bleeding, all that. And I'm like, okay, if anything is a tetanus shot, it's that. And the last place I want to fucking go is a urgent care right now, unless I really have to. Right.
Right.
And so I found this urgent care, and I called him, and I was like, hey, I think I tetanus shot, stepped on a nail. Yeah, I'll come in. There was like 3 people in the waiting room. They all had masks. They didn't look too sickly. I looked closely, and everyone's 6 feet away, and it was totally clean and everything. And I went in there, they gave me a tetanus shot and said, if your foot gets infected, call us and we'll give you antibiotics.
Damn.
And that was it. But one of the things he said, he goes, yeah, just watch out for infection or whatever. He goes, another thing you have to be concerned about is that since you're wearing flip-flops, that nail might have pushed some of the rubber from your flip-flops into your foot. And, that could be another problem. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
so
that's all great. Yeah, exactly.
So that's all I'm thinking about now. And I'm looking at my foot, and it's dark only because that's where it punctured, right?
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, fuck, there's a flip-flop in there. Fuck, I'm fucked.
Death by flip-flop.
Fuck, yeah, that's what's going to get me. Never mind the corona.
Exactly, right?
My flip-flop killed me.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, but no, got a tetanus shot, and that was it. So
I'm glad you're all right.
Everybody's happy. Things worked out.
I want to let everyone in on this one, too. We were supposed to do a podcast a couple weeks ago, but we did the memorial for Vic Henley on Zoom. It just hit me hard, and I know we talked off mic, and it hit you really, really hard. And I just needed to be alone for a while, man. So I was doing a lot of solo podcasts and stuff. But I mean, I was really bummed when Vic Henley died, obviously. But we had such distractions about worrying about our family and our loved ones, and we weren't in the city anymore, and all this stuff. And they didn't really have a wake for Vic because you can't get people together. So finally, they did something online, and I'm like, oh, this will be kind of fun, listening to a whole bunch of people tell stories and stuff and get a few laughs in and whatever. And wow, man, when that thing ended, I was a mess for like a day and a half, 2 days. It finally hit me hard that we're not going to see Vic again when we go back to living in New York City.
Yeah, that kind of sealed it up, man. That was, I think that's what, everybody who was close to him wanted or was looking for, unfortunately, is to just have that. And I know that his family was happy with it.
Right.
And it did a lot for them. I think obviously more so for them than anybody else.
Right.
What's really going to get me is when I get back, because again, we were next door neighbors.
Yeah.
So what's going to get me is when I, if I get back to New York and I'm living the day to day and something stupid happens or funny, or I think of something, I'm going to go reach for the phone like I still do. Like I'm going to text him some shit.
Right.
And I'm like, shit, Yeah.
And
so when I get back to the apartment, I think that's going to, I thought that was the thing that was going to hit me the most, but the Zoom thing, the memorial, yeah, that definitely hit me. That pretty much sealed it up right there. I mean, his mom talking and his brothers,
God,
and,
just brutal. But
that was, yeah, man. There was some funny things mixed in there too, though.
Yeah, but it was weird because there was a lot of funny stuff said, but everyone had to have their mics on mute, so it was kind of creepy not getting the feedback, and you're just watching everyone in their tiny boxes either laughing or crying during this thing, but you couldn't really hear anybody because they had to try to control it and keep it organized. I mean, there were some big names on that memorial, and they're in their homes. I don't feel like
Foxworthy, Ron White, Kathleen Madigan.
And they're in their homes, and without the Hollywood lights and the makeup and the good clothes and this and that, you're reminded that everyone's just pretty much the same. These people were in their houses, just nothing special about them whatsoever. We're
all the same. We're all the same.
Everybody needed haircuts, and everyone was mourning and missing Vic Henley. You strip all that away, what's left is your true self, and that's it, man.
Well, it is, man. And I was just so glad that because I had texted with or emailed Vic's niece after that. Yeah. And she was going on and on about how happy her family was with that. Oh, good. So, and she used the word closure and, all those things.
Right.
So, it's shitty that that's the way we had to do it.
Of course. I got to say, so I lose Vic Henley and Carl, and you were close to those guys as well. I want to end the podcast with this.
My blood pressure was a little high today at the doctor's office, so I could be the next one to go.
Oh my God, Jesus!
It was a little high.
Right.
I was surprised, to be honest with you.
Little high because you got a flip flop in the bottom of your foot. You got some worry there, my friend. But
fuck, I thought it was the picture of health. Go ahead.
It's no secret. Vic Henley and Carl were pretty much my closest friends these days, and certainly we're doing the podcast together. Both those guys pushed people on me at the end of their lives. With Carl, it was Matt Farah from the Smoking Tire. He's like, "Oh, you got to meet Matt. I think you guys would get along." Like, Carl was always setting up people. He would study the room and go, "Wow, that person would get along with this person," and he would make it happen. He wouldn't just think it. So famously, we went up to Connecticut and went on a yacht and did some podcast episodes. Me, Carl, and Matt Farah from the Smoking Tire. And I thought that would pretty much be it. We'd be friendly or whatever, but I consider him a good friend now. And Carl did that. Carl pushed me toward Matt and introduced us, and a friendship developed there. And God damn it, if Vic Henley didn't do the same exact thing with me and you, Judd Jones.
That's right, man.
So weird. Like, he started pushing you on me. Not in a way where I'd be annoyed, but he's like, I want to bring Judd Jones to the Get Parts for the, the podcast. I'm like, yeah, man, I like Judd. He was cool. We met and, I
think Vic was probably like, oh, he probably won't be too annoying. Let's bring Judd.
I don't know what it was, but the same thing like Carl, like Vic was also a socialite basically and setting up people. And I just want to say that I take a little solace in the fact that, although Carl and Vic are no longer with us, he definitely introduced me to Matt and you, Judd Jones.
Oh, man, I appreciate you saying that, dude. I mean, I feel the same way. All these people that Vic introduced me to in comedy and all this stuff, and Carl, you, and all these comedians and everybody that I know, man, that's just the way it goes. And sometimes it works out better. And, if somebody passes away, we all got to keep living, man. We got to keep pressing forward and doing it. And other than the fact that you're like some crazy women's libber, I mean, I think you're all right.
Yeah, God forbid I support some women's rights finally in my life. Oh my God.
Yeah, right. Are you wearing You wearing Birkenstocks over there? Jesus. God. Lead the way.
Unbelievable. What are you promoting there, Judd? Anything?
Check me out, juddjones.com. Got some videos on there, some of the old podcasts. I need to get doing that again. I was telling you before, man, I've been having a difficult time figuring out something to be funny about, but maybe I just need to hit record and do it and see what, pops out.
Yeah, just go. And we'll do more. Yeah. We'll do more episodes as well. And I got to say, for the people out there, Judd is doing videos here and there, and your subtle humor and your dry humor, I'm a huge fan of, man. I crack the fuck up.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. It's really just like the absurdity of things. Like the professional, fisherman who's going to take you out on a charter.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at some videos before we first got down here about general surf casting stuff. And I'm seeing some of these dudes and I'm like, oh my God, they're all talking about such specific bullshit that the regular person doesn't care about.
Right.
And so I that makes me laugh too. So I was like, yeah, I'll do those videos. And then the camping world thing. I love doing that. I thought that was probably my favorite.
It's really funny, man.
That's pretty good. But yeah, on YouTube, Judd Jones, and website, juddjones.com. That's that.
And you got to go get some iodine on that damn foot of yours.
So I can elevate it. I'm going to die from flip-flop.
From the flip-flop.
That's it. Jesus Christ.
All right. My friend Judd Jones.
All right, boy.
Boo, 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 boo. Opie Radio. Boo, 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 boo. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.